What's good, everyone? Welcome to another reading. Now, this one's going to be on manifestation, but I'm going to give you guys a super juicy bit of knowledge on manifestation. Now, to be absolutely honest with you, my perspective on manifestation is always wavering, it's always changing, it's always evolving and growing. And I've become what I've started to become a bit better at, I would say, is seeing manifestation from a perspective outside of my reality. So looking in on the things that I've manifested from another's perspective. And if you want to get really high vibrational, maybe even God's perspective. When I zoom out and I see things from other people's perspective, like if I was chilling with my friends and I was saying, hey, look, guys, you know, all this manifestation, I mean, you see all this stuff all these material things that I've got, all these goals I've achieved, I've got a secret for you. I manifested this. This was all to do with my mindset and my belief system. They would look at me and they maybe wouldn't necessarily say that I'm crazy because I've always let them know that I'm somewhat of a part-time spiritual guru. Um, but I can guarantee that they would look at me like I was a bit confused and say something along the lines of, I can't say word for word, but they would they would convince me or make a point that, like, Nazed, the things that you've achieved, the material things that you've gained, you got them because you worked your ass off. That's why. You sacrificed and you kept on working and you worked yourself to death, and that's how you got your things. So that's interesting because that's viewing that manifestation from an outside perspective, and there's truth in that. There is truth in that. But what they maybe don't realize is that there was something that guided me in the areas where I worked my ass off. Because we all know the story of the cleaner who wakes up at 5 a.m. and goes home at 10 p.m. and they work harder than all of us. Like, straight up. That's not just physically, that's hours worked, breaks taken. There's so many, so many jobs where, you got like certain businessmen and stuff talking about outworking people, but like there's so many jobs, day-to-day jobs, where people are completely putting in more sweat and blood than a lot of these business people. That's just facts. That's just absolute facts. So you got that perspective, right? And that's other people looking in. Um, and there's truth in there. Like I said, like I think belief and manifestation is real, but you know, obviously you got to put the work in. And then there's the perspective from like God as well, and like no one can really truly get into the mind of God, because there's maybe no such thing. I think I explained this in my video called Channeling, where I was trying to break down the fact that anyone who you watch from YouTube who's trying to tell you that there are direct channels from God, I think that's bullshit. Because I believe as soon as you put something from God into this world, it's tainted by us. So it would be the example of like, let's say if God was the water And as soon as you put that water into the pipe and then into the glass that you drink from, that that water is no longer the same because it's gone through the pipe. The pipe is maybe made from metal, and that has tiny, tiny particles of metal in it. And then it goes into the glass, and then the glass, as well as the glass having tiny molecules in it, tiny bacteria that is still in that glass that you haven't washed out, although you feel like it's washed, it's not. It's still got bacteria in it. That water lands in that glass. And then we're not even talking about the vibration of those things, right? And anyone who's listening to me can really understand this, because let's just say, hypothetically, that glass that you're drinking from was given to you by your grandmother who hated your guts. Worse still, you didn't even know she maybe hated your guts. So when that glass was given to you, it weren't even given with love. It was given with hate. Now that water, we all know that vibration counts, right? There's even science on this. If you speak evil into water, it changes the molecules. If you speak love into water, it changes the molecules. So that glass is vibrating differently too. Now, ask your average Joe walking down the street, does water change from A to B? They're probably going to say, no, water's water. But for us who have dug a little bit deeper into life, you understand completely what I'm saying. And you have to hold your hands up to that point, right? What I just said is true. And channeling is the same. So anyone who claims to have a pipe that is completely pure, and a glass, a vessel, which is completely pure, without blemish, without sin, without anything, they're on a straight path to fuckery, if you ask me. Straight path to fuckery. If that's fuckery of themselves or fuckery of the audience they're about to serve, you're on a path to fuckery. So I say all of this, those who are listening, is that when I do try and bring a perspective that how would God see my manifestation, what I'm trying to say here is that that's an impossible task. It's not a 100% pure channel. But I can tell you what I do get. I can tell you that when I channel, I believe that I'm pretty good at it. I wouldn't even want to give a percentage, but I'd say it's pretty high. All I know is that it's not 100%. It's not 100%. And I don't believe anyone on this 3D reality can give that. Only God can give that from his 100% or her 100% position. It's like the simple analogy of that would be like giving the perspective of the sun. You can't give that unless if you're in the sun. You are the sun. Otherwise, we're just given a perspective of the sun. I'm talking about the sun in the sky here. So I would kind of predict or feel out that if God was to see my manifestation technique, it would be along the lines of saying it was kind of just destined. It was kind of just being. Like, it just was. Just was. So that's why I say that my ideas on manifestation are always changing, because I can apply a shitload of logic, ideas, thinking to what I think is happening. And then I can zoom out and see how other people might see that perspective. and then I can see it's from God's perspective, which was it was just a thing that happened and was always going to happen, and it was just meant to be. And it's like, well, which one of these are the way? I don't know. Maybe it's all of them. Maybe we're meant. Maybe that's just the experience. We're maybe just discovering things, figuring things out, and being. Understanding ourselves, trying to understand others, and trying to connect with God. So that was one hell of an intro, and I haven't even got to my point yet. It's quite funny. I don't know. I think there was some. I think there was some knowledge, some gems in there for you. Um, the actual introduction that I wanted to give here is that kind of little piece that I was talking about. It started off with kind of just giving you a primer, if you like, of where I'm at with manifestation, which is it's always changing. But one thing that I have come to accept, and at least I believe this to be true, is part of like my mission and part of what I do on here and on my Instagram, for example, as well, is that I really have understood the power of like dark energy better, dark thoughts, and triggers specifically. And you might be thinking, Zed, like, what are you talking about? This isn't to do with manifestation. Manifestation's all to do with thinking positively, going for the things you want, and keeping a high vibration. That's what manifestation's about. And kind of the big kind of key or the big gem that I want to give to everyone who's listening here today is that through understanding triggers, through understanding one's darkness, through understanding the gunk that we all have, will make you a much better manifester. Will make you a much better manifester. And I'll give you an example. It's a common trend in the world of manifestation that people will always tell you to hold the thing that you want, and it's basically will come into reality. And why I'm putting emphasis on people's dark thoughts, even people's traumas, people's gunk, is that until you do that work, you will always be hindered. This is what people don't talk about. Is that when you say to yourself, okay, let's say you're trying to manifest a new car, for example, and your thoughts keep saying, "Oh man, I hate this car that I've got." I don't even drive, by the way. This is just for you guys to give you an analogy. Let's say if you got a banged up car and you're like, damn, I really want a nice car. Everyone on YouTube and in books are going to say, well, no, just make a mood board of your nice car and manifest that nice car now. So imagine that you're in the nice car, smell the nice car, see the nice car, believe that you deserve that nice car. That might actually, if you drive yourself crazy enough, make you manifest that new car. But I tell you what it doesn't do. It doesn't solve the issue of why you was in that shitty car in the first place. So what happens is that even if you do manifest that nice car, you haven't got rid of the gunk. So eventually that nice car is going to turn into the old car that you didn't want. Do you see how it works? It's like this reality, this reality that we live in is sick sometimes. Like sometimes you have to wonder, like, damn God, like damn, this is this is the story of the famous person who isn't happy. It's because they manifested the thing that they thought was going to make them happy without dealing with the gunk. So, for anyone who's listening to this, who's kind of got that old school, that old soul wisdom, it's really going to strike your heart. You're going to just know it's true what I'm saying. And what I'm trying to give to you, the gift I'm trying to give to you today, is that one of my biggest blessings that I've able to craft and sharpen in this whole process of If You Pause, like I said, the YouTube and the Instagram, is kind of dealing and understanding that gunk. Therefore, when I'm manifesting things, it comes from pure content energy. And in doing so, it wasn't only that I was able to evolve my perspective on positive energy, but I was also able to alchemize negative energy. And I'm going to give you an example here. I've noticed, and you might be able to agree or disagree with me on this, but I think 99.9% of people see triggers as a bad thing. And one thing that, like I said, I've come to evolve, and I just hope that I can give you this gift as well, for whoever's listening. I've changed my perspective on triggers through doing this. Maybe it was here before If You Pause, but I've definitely sharpened it. I've definitely evolved it. Now, what I'm trying to say is that triggers still hurt me, but I've changed my perspective on why they hurt me. So triggers for me, like if I see someone walking down the street and they got something that I really want and it makes me feel bad, I have no resentment for that person. I'm like, go them. But I feel bad because I want that thing too. That feeling hurts. But the next thought that comes after that is, yeah, there's some work that I can do here. There's some growth I can make. Triggers to me have now become almost like days at the gym. So when I spot a trigger, it's like, oh man, it's the thing that I don't want to do, but I know it's good for me. I know it's good for me. And that means that when I'm manifesting things, instead of just trying to get the good thing, I've become so much better at dealing with what didn't work before I get that good thing. And I just came to realize in this process, like the majority, that I don't even really care what people have to dispute me on this. The majority of people, when they get triggered, it's just a bad thing. I've just come to realize that the majority, like most people, whenever there's a bad thing, a trigger, it's just a bad thing. And just to emphasize again, what I'm trying to say here is that I'm not trying to say that when I have a trigger, I don't feel bad things. All I'm saying is that after that feeling, I'm able to associate that with, ah, there's muscle growth to be made here. You know, triggers give me the six pack of the heart, the sexy biceps, or the cute little bum if you're a female watching. Triggers give you the cute little bum of the heart. But you know that exercise, takes some work. I'm not going to say it necessarily always takes pain, but you might need to break a sweat. You might need to feel some form of uncomfortability in order for that. Most definitely. So for everyone who's watching here, I just want to kind of give you that gift, and I'll just summarize it for you again. Is that when you can master the darkness, when you can master triggers, when you can master the dark gunk, clear that gunk. And remember, gunk always builds up. If you never clean your toilet, it will build up gunk. It always needs to be cleaned. You can't pray to God and say, God, why can't you just make my toilet, never need flushing? God will probably reply to you, because you always taking shits, you always pissing. It's always going to need a flush. It's part of it. So I was trying to summarize my shit there, but weren't too good at that today. To summarize, manifestation. People nowadays, the trend for manifestation, without people realizing it, is suppressing the darkness in order to gain our desires. And all I'm saying to you, whoever's listening, is when you can heal your darkness, the things that you desire are built upon solid foundations. When you don't heal the darkness, you basically just loop. You basically just loop on yourself. You basically just build up darkness and darkness and darkness and darkness until you become numb to your desires. And gosh, in many ways, like, I can put my hand up to this myself, actually. There's certain things that I've desired and got, but it wasn't built upon first cleaning up those wounds and working on that darkness. So don't fall into the trap, for everyone who's listening, of just going for the positive thinking, just going for the thing that we want without cleaning up the gunk, because it's a trap. Just another trap of modern day society. Nor do you want to get trapped in the game of shadow work, where you're just working on the darkness, where you're basically just cleaning up shit all day. You do want balance. You do want to manifest positive things, but you just basically want to use your darkness, use your shadow, use your gunk to understand why you're desiring those things. Clear that up first, and then, like I said, the desires will be much more pleasurable when you receive them. So yeah, super summary. When the trigger comes to you, if it's through one of these videos or if it's through one of my Instagram posts, if it's through scrolling on something, if it's through walking down the street. Remember, the emotion that you feel is completely okay. If it's of, is it discontent? If it's of jealousy, self-doubt, anything that people see as negative, those thoughts are all okay. As long as you remind yourself after those thoughts, yes, thank you, God. This is an opportunity to see the dark sides of myself and for me to work on it. That's the key. And then when you start working on that thing, you're gonna ask yourself, so who do I want to be? How do I want to react to that? And in a way, that is your manifestation. It's through planting the seed in the soil, alchemizing that gunk into pure, black, beautiful nutrition, and letting the plant grow from that. You know, it's alchemizing the gunk food scraps into nutritious soil. Still black, still dark in color, but now that shit's full of nutrition, and you plant that tree. If it's the oak that lasts for years, if it's the plum tree with its sweet fruit, or if it's a little quick small tree without a long lifespan, whatever you desire. So intro out of the way. I hope I was able to give you something there. We might be touching on the world record for introduction, pick-a-pole introductions. But yeah, anyway, Spirit's kind of giving me that nod. I think I did well there. I did kind of waver off a few times, but I think there's goodness in there. So, as always, pile number 1s, pile number 2s, and pile number 3s. Feel free to pause the video, and we'll get stuck into pile number 1s. So I got my thick pen out today. Pile 1s. Lord have mercy, if you didn't check the introduction, you best check it. It's full of goodness. This is going to be on manifestation, maybe one of your blind spots, something you're missing, something that might help you. I'm just going to let the pen do its thing. And you can say, what do you see and what do you feel? I love the way that there's those gaps in between the strokes, if you know what I'm saying. It's almost like a brushed look. I almost wanted to frame that. I know that is completely like random scribbles, but we'll see. I feel like your message in a weird way, pile number 1s, is to do with the application opposed to the image. So this reminds me almost of, like, you know, the artist John Pollock, where he basically splatters the paint over the image. It's not so much like the meaning of what this is, and this very much isn't what these readings are usually about. It's the opposite of that. It's actually all in the image. Usually, I'd say pile number 1s, what we've got here is it's more about the application opposed to the image. It's not about deciphering what is in here. It's how it's applied. And the only way that I can explain this to you, pile number 1s, is when I was drawing this, it just felt like there was something so unique about the way that the ink was coming out onto the page that it's hard to recreate, because like, if I'm not sure if you can actually see the detail of this drawing, but there's just these gaps in the strokes, and if I was to hold the pen and press the pen in different pressures, those strokes would look completely different. But there was just a beautiful sweet spot in, like I say, the way that the pen was held and the pressure that was applied, that was creating just this beautiful stroke. It reminds me a little bit of, I don't think it's called calligraphy, but it might be, like the Chinese calligraphy when they use the brush. It's the same effect, but I'm using a pen. Oh, it's giving me the same feeling, but I was using a pen, and that's kind of magic to me. So I feel like for you pile number ones, your advice in terms of manifestation, it isn't what you're trying to manifest, it's your application. So there's something to do here with like applying just enough pressure and holding like your magic wand, if you like, in just the right way, that you're gonna flow better. Now, I'm not sure what that means to you. Let's just say, for example, you're trying to manifest a new career. There's something that Spirit wants you to learn about with it's almost like the way that this is coming through is like trying, but not trying too hard. So that's like the pressure. And the technique is so for example, like I have sometimes people talk about how I hold the pen when I'm writing. For example, I like to scrunch my hand up, or when I'm doing something detailed, I scrunch my hand up because I'm able to get a better grip on what I'm doing. When I'm doing something flowing, you will notice my hand does something more like this. People don't realize that the way that I hold my pen, it actually changes. It's just maybe when I'm holding my pen in a way which people aren't familiar with, they just notice it more. It's like, oh man, he's holding it weird there, or whatever. It's like, I'm not even paying attention to my hand. I'm paying attention to like my body is reacting in a way like, what's the best way to get this out? What's the best way for what's the best way my body needs to react in order to get this art out? And the last thing I'm worried about is how the fuck someone views how I'm doing that. It would be the equivalent to like Ronaldo, right? Playing football. I use Ronaldo a lot because it's an easy analogy for me. Like, when the ball gets crossed in to Ronaldo, sometimes he's got to use the centre of his head to header that ball in. Sometimes he has to use the side of his head to header it in. Sometimes he has to use his damn shoulder if he must, or the back of his heel. It doesn't matter what part of his body he's using in order to get that ball into the goal. What Ronaldo cares about is getting that ball into the back of the net. So when someone says, Ronaldo, that was an ugly goal because you used your arse to get that ball in the back of the net. Ronaldo's like, but they're paying me 30 mil a day for it. No, I can't say that I'm getting 30 mil a day for it. But sure, I resonate with that energy. And I feel par number ones, this is the energy that you should be embracing. Is that, like if you're a dancer, don't worry too much about that position that you're getting in order to dance that way. Let the expression of how that energy feels be the art. If you're an artist, it's everything I just said. Don't worry about, it would almost be the equivalent as well of, someone commenting and saying you've got a weird paintbrush when you paint. Let's say it's a paintbrush that you custom made in order to get a certain texture or mood. That doesn't matter. You can always, you can tell the difference of someone's vibration when they comment on something like that. You just need to get into the energy of doing what you need to do to best embrace what you're trying to convey, and just let the art speak. And remember, art is pretty much everything anyway. So if it's speaking that you do, if it's math that you do, accounting that you do, if it's teaching that you do, or something active, it's all kind of a form of art anyway. And Spirit's just reminding you, I'm almost getting just bend into that position in order to do what you need to do. And I don't know, I find just personally for someone who's I've received attacks on the way that I do things near enough my whole damn life. So I've almost become a little bit blind to it because over time, I started to pay attention to the people who had something to say. And 9 times out of 10, they were losers. And I'm not trying to be mean there. I'm just saying that 9 times out of 10, they were losers or they were insecure within themselves. That's why they were commenting. All of the cool people who always gave me feedback that was useful, they would always do it privately. So that's one thing I just noticed, is that the best bits of advice from great people, they came with privacy. They never came from people who shouted out, "Hey, you're shit. Hey, your work's shit," or "Hey," it's never from that. It's never from that person. And sometimes the person shouting, "Hey, you can't do that," or "You shouldn't do that," sometimes they've got some credibility of some kind, but they're still whack though. They're still losers. Sometimes that person shouting is really rich or they have money, but they're still losers though, because the cool people, the people who are really about it, the people who are solid, they're usually the people who go, "Oh, hey, this is really cool. Have you ever thought about doing this too?" That's usually the delivery. It's the loser who kind of shouts in the comments or shouts out loud, shouts while you're on stage, shouts when you're giving a class or blah, blah, blah. It's usually the loser, And again, I don't, maybe I'm using the wrong word. Loser may be a bit harsh. It's usually the person who's heavily scarred up, But I'm only using the word loser here because the person who's heavily scarred up, who's running their mouth, sometimes, like in my opinion, all the time, isn't worth listening to. They're not worth listening to. That's why I'm using the word loser. I'm not trying to be mean to anyone, but it's like those scars are so loud in that person's voice that they don't realize that what they're saying isn't valuable. It's not valuable, so they're not really worth listening to. So just something that you might want to pay attention to, pile number ones as well. You might just want to sit on that energy. You might have people coming up against you in maybe career or whatever you do. Just keep it moving as always. Like I said, listen to the introduction of this video. I always say to people, sometimes life sucks a little bit, and we live in a day and age at the moment, I find, just kind of full of delusional positive thinking. I think you're absolutely out of your mind if you believe that if you just think positive things, life will be positive. I think that's just ridiculous, because I can think of times in my life where I was just in a positive streak, but like someone can just go die. And, the guru can go and tell me, yeah, but it's how you perceive it. Death is blah, blah, blah. Death isn't a bad thing. Death is just a part of life. But sometimes you just need to grieve that death. Sometimes you need to feel sad about that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Do I advocate that you stay in that sadness and that grief? Absolutely not. But to say that, yeah, just stay in that positive vibration and only good things will happen, I don't think this reality works like that, y'all. I just don't. And I'm not here to judge anyone who believes in that. Do you? I definitely think thinking positive as much as you can will do more good than bad for you. But it's kind of just, as I said in the introduction, it's kind of based upon false hope. If you don't clean out the gunk. So pile number ones, with that said, I'm going to leave you to it. I hope you was able to extract some value from this reading. I think this was a good pick a pile today, just generally. If you liked the video, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. And I'll see you in the next one. Okay, pile number twos. Abstract reading today. The thick black pen is coming out. I highly recommend pile number twos to listen to the introduction if you haven't. What do you see? What do you feel? I kind of get the vibes of a pulse here. A pulse. The good news is, it's not dead. It's not dead. It's a little bit irregular, but it's not dead. It's actually quite balanced. But there's something about it which is kind of a little bit haunting. It's a little bit jagged. I feel pile number twos, I feel like you're doing something right, actually. I feel like this I get a feeling from this reading that your message on manifestation um, is generally that you're doing something right. See, the only thing I can comment on is that it kind of started off a little bit more wild, and then it started to kind of balance itself out a little bit, at least in the stroke. And I don't know, I feel like this is a little bit of a timeline representation for you. You might have started off like a little bit shaky or something. I'm almost getting like, did you start off 2020? What year are we in? Is it 2024? I've got no idea anymore. The years just passed by so quickly. I just couldn't give a monkeys anymore. I think we're in 2024. I've got a feeling here, like Spirit's giving me, you might have started off the year a little bit shaky, but you're coming into, this is almost like your year summary. You start to, almost, the word that's coming through is like solidify. You're solidifying something. I'm almost getting like the sun coming out, like you're solidifying something. It reminds me also, God's given me the analogy here of like the pruning of the tree. It's like your tree was always good, but you're pruning it now. You've pruned it. You started off 2024 and it looked, the tree looked a little bit wild. You had some dead branches on there, you know. You prune that bad boy up, and now like coming into the rest of the year, it's like you're shit tight. It's just looking a lot more smoother. It's looking healthier, you know. I feel also for you part number twos, you might relate to this, that your shit might have been like more jagged, even more jagged the year before this. That might just resonate with a few of you. But we're just seeing almost like the start of this year. It starts with how your last year ended, but you're coming into a pruning energy. There's something which is like the energy that just keeps on coming through. It's like you got your shit tight, you know. Now that I think about it, that did sound a bit naughty. But I didn't mean it in that way. I actually meant that you got your shit, well, you might get your shit tight, like, we might be talking about your health here and, like, working out and your physique, all of that kind of stuff, like getting, your shit physically tight. But I kind of just meant it also, like, you got your shit tight as in, your money, your appearance. It's like it's like the nice trim if you're a dude, and if you're a woman, it's like your nails are looking good, your hair's looking good, your skin is looking good. You got your shit tight. I'm always getting like your tight skin. It's looking like not like, I'm not trying to, because when I'm saying tight skin now, I'm thinking, damn, is that giving the perspective like cosmetic work? But like healthy skin is usually referred to as kind of, I'm not talking about like stretched tight here. I just mean like firm. Firm's the word. But that kind of that's the word when I'm saying you got your shit tight. You got your shit firmly together. It's that vibration, right? So hopefully you got that part number twos. I was just worried that I kind of lost people with that, but I wasn't trying to. So yeah, pile number two's, that's kind of your energy. Keep doing your thing. Right? If I was to just summarize that energy, I'd say just make sure your shit's pruned. Keep pruning it. It's like you're sitting on a good healthy tree here. Tree's nutritious. It's good. No disease on that bad boy. Just keep an eye on it. Keep it pruned. And that's all I got for you, pal twos. If you enjoyed the reading, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Commenting is a great way to support what I do here. If you feel it in your hearts, like, damn, these readings are good, I want to help Zed kind of get it out there more, just put a bunch of comments under these readings and help the algorithm. You can also check out ifyoupause.com and support what I do on there. I've got plenty of videos that you can purchase and support what I'm doing. And yeah, rooting for you, pal number twos. This was a good reading. So keep pruning and keep going. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, pile number threes. Clearly using my thick pen today. I'm also stressing to all the piles, you absolutely want to be checking the introduction for this reading. It could be a world record for the longest introduction I've done, but I can assure you that it's, free content don't get much better than that, if you ask me. I maybe haven't presented it in the best way in these videos. It's more about getting the information out. And I don't really want to invest into this channel when there isn't much coming back. I'm a businessman at heart, so I only invest into things which are showing return. That could be a message for you, part number threes. Okay, let's sit on that. There's some other things coming through. But I feel like, again, it's not coincidence. I feel like that's something to maybe sit on. The tricky, I was kind of talking about in the introduction, pile number threes, and that is that my view on manifestation is always changing. And I'm always kind of getting humbled by God as well, in the sense that God is always reminding me how everyone's different and everyone's path looks different. And I say that because I remember someone once said to me, like, I was just talking here about how I'm not gonna put unnecessary energy into this channel that I don't need to. And I was also reminded when I was thinking that by something that someone once told me, which was, you have to put money into something to get money out. And my first reaction is that, like maybe at that time when someone told me that, that was maybe good advice. But now, that is really, really bad advice. If you put money into a business that isn't giving you any return, that is just a really, really bad idea. And it's even a bad idea sometimes when you're just hoping that it's going to give you that return, you know. Don't get me wrong, I think some of the best decisions I've ever made are through taking a risk. But, you could argue that part of manifestation is, a key part of manifestation is actually tuning in to the depths of your core and understanding what's the thing that I should be manifesting. That's almost like part of the key of manifestation. It's not like, what is my surroundings telling me to do? What's that trending thing telling me to do? It's like, what is at the deepest part of my core? Like when you look into your heart chakra, and then if I was to say, what's there? And then I was to say, no. Go even deeper than your heart chakra. Oh shit, your mind's like, what's deeper than that? I don't know what's there, Palfreys, but go there and extract from that place. And then you're going to get some more. Then you're going to move from a place which is like, that's the type of place that I move from on this channel. Is that means that when someone says something to me and it don't really make sense, that doesn't really linger for me, because I go back to that anchor point. I'm like, does it align with that? Does that center point say to put 10 grand into If You Pause, or to spend that on another investment? And it doesn't, so I don't do it, even if it's there, even if it's looking at me saying, you could boost this channel, you could do that. Do you understand? It's that. Until the audience say, no, we really fuck with this, y'all. Then just keep doing God's work, keep doing what God's telling you to do, keep, just, what's the saying? It's almost, keep striking the match. Just keep, no, that match is blunt. Okay, next. And then, boom, when it lights, now we can start talking about how we're going to funnel that money that's coming in. Now we can talk business like that. I feel part number 3 is, I don't know, you might be listening to this going, again, amen, hallelujah, I'm on the same page as this guy, I get what he's saying completely. Or you might be opposing it. Another thing that I might just add, I'm not throwing anyone under the bus here energetically either, but the person who told me that, they didn't end up living the best life. They ended up being the person who was always looking for investment into their things instead of building it themselves. They were always the type of person, which I didn't see back then, but they were always the person trying to cling on, jump. They were a jump shipper. They were a monkey brancher. They were a jump shipper monkey brancher. So yeah, you got to pay attention to the people you take advice from. Pile number three is I feel like there's something there for you. Um, if you've got that mindset, just start thinking, how much of this can I build myself? How much can I do of this myself? And kind of, this is just life in general, what, like, it might not be talking about a brand or a business that you're starting. It might just be like you're assessing your friendships differently. So you're maybe asking yourself, um, are my friendships, are these friends who I can ask for help? You might be evaluating them and going, okay, maybe not. Are these the types of friends who want to help me? Yeah, maybe not. Do I need these type of friends? You might be asking questions like that. Again, these kind of questions, they do actually trickle into like the ideas of manifestation, because like in my opinion, manifestation, it works best from a place of clarity of thought, clarity in environment. Manifestation really sucks when you're trying to manifest something and you've got people around you who don't believe in that manifestation with you. That's not a good look. So, yeah, this is also like, just to clarify this point, pile number three, is I'm not on here saying, I gave the if you pause example. I'm not on here saying that the people who are subscribed here should be doing X, Y, and Z. What I'm trying to actually just express to you is that the evidence is always there. Like, so never listen to people who go, ah, this and that happened to me just because this and that. Those types of people are like, um, what I'm trying to say, don't listen to the people who've always got an excuse for something, or a complaint about something. Try and embrace, when you're talking about manifestation, try and embrace more people who are like, the cream will rise to the top. So when I'm putting out content, which, in my presence, in my being, in my space that is beyond the heart chakra, I believe that this is cream that's going to rise to the top. I believe that because I've done it so many times before as well, that I've just become confident in that. I've got the proof. I've got the evidence. What I'm curious about is what that's going to attract and what that is attracting, you know. And sometimes that is proof of your manifestation too, right? Like, sometimes when you produce something, and it's out of a loving place, sometimes we've just got to leave it to God. Sometimes God is asking you to do something just to help others, and that's okay. Like, sometimes God is showing you, when you're putting out whatever your thing is, if you've got a certain profession that you do, a certain skill that you do, and you show that to people, maybe it was just like to make that person smile that day. Maybe it wasn't for that reason of something going viral or blah blah blah. sometimes when you put something out, sometimes it was just to let someone on the other side of that know that they weren't alone, you know, that they resonated with something. Sometimes, you know, like even this morning I was listening to a YouTube video and I was like, one habit that I've become more consistent with is, you know, like when I watch a YouTube video, I'm not sure if you relate to this, Paul Freeze, is that I've said before, like I'm not necessarily a big commenter or a big liker on other people's YouTube channels. So it's funny, like you are what you attract. And one thing that I have implemented into my life though is, you know, when I'm listening to something and it was really good and I don't necessarily feel like liking or subscribing to it or commenting, I just say thank you out loud. That's one of my things. Like you could almost call it a prayer. But like when I listened to something, I was like, do you know what, that was good. I learned something there. It wasn't so much so that I'm gonna buy a product or show a crazy amount of support, but spiritually, I'm actually saying thank you. And I actually say it out loud. I say, oh, thank you. Say thank you. Thank you for that. That was helpful. And it's those little things which I think vibrationally they matter. So that's maybe something that you just want to think about. Part number 3 is what parts of your life could you just say maybe like thank you more? That could be something. It could be to do with like gratitude here. And then also, just to summarize, it might be the energy of like letting things go, letting kind of God decide how that manifestation is going to play out. That might be one of your things to look into. Just kind of let go of the control of how you want certain things to work out, how you want things to be. I think that kind of maybe helped me a lot with some of my manifestations. Is there was a certain point where I held my vision of what that thing was that I was trying to manifest, but I kind of stopped caring a little bit of how it came about. I just stopped caring so much. Like it was not the energy of giving up though, because I held the thing that I wanted strong in my heart, but I just kind of stopped caring. And in many ways I kind of just started seeing the reality of things as a blessing, you know. I don't know, Paul Freeze, I'm not sure if you've experienced any form of like a lot of attention. Who knows who's watching this video, right? But you know, in my little bubble of architecture, I have experienced that, and I'm not sure people realize if they're actually going to enjoy what actually comes with some of these things. I think that's one thing that people aren't prepared for. Is, you know, sometimes what comes with certain attention, you know, it's like even I think I might have even said it in this video, like you are what you attract. It's like sometimes when you get a lot of attention, you wonder like, how the fuck did I attract that? You know, how did I attract that? You know, can you imagine like the famous actor who's literally, um, you know, got someone who's like a groupie who's literally like psychotic. It's how did you like or maybe not even like there's so many things that happen in life. It's like even the famous actor who attracts the wife who divorces him and tries to take him to the cleaners. Like there's these moments in life where you go, how the fuck did I attract that? You know, it's like the wife who has the happily ever after, but then the husband like cheats on her 50 times. Like there is that energy of okay, maybe I accepted that type of person into my life, but there's also that side which is like blind to it, right? Isn't there? There's like, how the fuck did that happen? I think we all experience that as humans. I'm not really sure what the point of that was, why Spirit was kind of channeling that vibe through me, but I guess maybe what Spirit was just trying to say there is that it's giving up control on things. It's like sometimes there's just things in life that catch us upside the head. Like, damn, I didn't see that come. That friend who betrayed you when you were bleeding out. Damn, where the fuck did that come from? Like, Spirit's just trying to remind us here, I think, that, you know, there's just some things which they are just going to catch you. So what's the point in trying to, yeah, don't be naive, don't be stupid, but there are just certain things which are going to catch you. So the last thing that I want to mention here, pile number 3, is, and this feels almost a bit backwards, it's back to this reading. It's that there was a thread here which seemed to be like it was getting thinner, and then it got thicker, and then it got thinner, and then it got thicker. And this kind of reminded me a little bit of like shedding. It was like, I think pile number 3 is, there's something about your manifestation technique which is a constant, got some confirmation there from the siren. There's a constant building and then shedding, and Spirit wants you to know that this is part of the process. So whenever you're feeling like you're shedding, don't be in fear. Just understand that just like a snake, oh, this is reminding me of a snake actually, now that I see it. You might embrace that kind of that snake energy, and don't panic. It's not all bad. Although snake definitely ain't a good thing in the Bible. Snake definitely ain't a good thing in most kids shows. But yeah, it's like the snake is the person or the energy, the entity which gives us lessons. So Spirit is maybe reminding you, yeah, that basically in your life you may feel sometimes like you're almost reinventing yourself, changing yourself, and this is going to happen to you enough times in your life that you're going to realize, this is just part of it, and it's something not to be scared of. Like if we're talking on the topic of manifestation, it's like God's reminding you that there's a time to build that manifestation, and then there's a time for the experience of it. There's a time to build that manifestation, and then there's a time to experience it. And like I kind of said in the introduction, is that we're living in a society at the moment which wants to be living the manifestation, living the manifestation, living the manifestation, and no one wants to be building the manifestation. So don't be that person, pile number 3. And in fact, you want to be the person who's digging in the dirt for that manifestation too. You want to be checking the ground. You want to be, if you're bougie and watching this and thinking, damn, I don't want to get my hands dirty because you just got your nails done or whatever, you want to be embracing, you want to be the bad bitch who goes, look, I can take these nails off and get my hands dirty too. I can feel that ground and see if it's stable or not. And if you're a dude, obviously, put your big boy trousers on and don't complain when you're in the trenches of building something great. I'm almost getting the analogy like put your boots on and jump on that soil. Make sure you're not building upon like an old drain where you're going to go straight through that bitch. Kick the ground, kick the dirt a little bit, put your hands in the dirt, and that's your building of your manifestation. And just know, when you're in that manifestation, when it comes to completion, enjoy it, man. Like, if you're on the beach, feel the air touch your skin, smell the salty smell of the sea, feel that sun on your skin fully, because you earn it, because you was digging deep in that soil. Feel it. When that love of your life enters into your life, love them deeply. Love them with everything you got. Don't be a pussy about it. Don't be a coward. Fucking give it. Give everything. Like, I'm not saying give everything like where you've got nothing for yourself. I'm not talking about that. I just mean like give everything that you can give. I'm not saying lose yourself out there. Don't take it the wrong way. I'm just saying fucking like go for it type energy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like do that, be that. And know when the hard times come, there's a cycle there. God's just giving you that reminder, Pile 3, that there is the cycle. It looks different for everyone. For someone else, I might have drawn like a wheel. Like it might have been like the Wheel of Fortune in the tarot. For someone else, it might be, like drawing a tree. And drawing it, one tree dies, but the seed is in the ground and a new tree appears. For your reading, Pile 3s, you are the snake. So embrace that. Another thing, these readings are way longer than I thought they were going to be. At least yours is, Pile 3s. It reminds me a little bit of the coastline. I don't know why this is reminding me a little bit of Italy. Maybe is it Greece as well? Italy and Greece might be significant to you. That's just a little bit of confirmation. There's nothing really more else I'm going to touch on with that. But Italy and Greece was standing out to me. So Pile 3s, beautiful reading today. I hope it was valuable to you. I hope you was able to take away something from it. As always, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. I do love comments from you guys. I put emphasis on comments specifically. Leave a comment. Let me know that you're there. Let me know that it helped you. And obviously remember to check out the If You Pause website as well, ifyoupause.com. Like I said, the more that I see people showing appreciation to the channel, the more I'm going to invest in it and make it bigger and better. So I'll see you in the next reading, Pal Freeze. In the meantime, have a great morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you're watching this. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.